Welcome to Cooking 100-Year-Old Recipes. I'm Stephanie, and in this video, I'm looking at the Ooey Gooey Butter Cake. Imagine a dessert so rich, so buttery, and so sweet that it became a hometown treasure, all because of a baking mistake. Today, I'm making and sharing the story of Ooey Gooey Butter Cake, a St. Louis original with a surprising Dallas twist that later got tied to Neiman Marcus. Is it a cake made in a faraway land with a designer label slapped on? Let's find out. Now, this is my first time making and tasting this cake. If you have a family story around this cake, perhaps a beloved variation, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Maybe I'll try it. So what makes this cake so special? It's golden, soft, and melts in your mouth. But its history, that's where things get a little more interesting. The story begins in St. Louis in the 1930s or 40s. A local baker was preparing a standard butter cake, but in a moment of distraction, he accidentally reversed the proportions of butter and flour. Instead of fluffy batter, he ended up with something much richer and stickier. He decided to bake it anyway, and the result was this gooey custard-like cake with a crackly golden top. Customers loved it. Word spread quickly, and soon other St. Louis bakeries were making their own versions. St. Louis was the perfect city for this dessert to catch on. The community had a strong German-American root, and with that came a love of dense, buttery, heavy pastries and coffee cakes. This gooey creation fit right into the German tradition of Kaffee and Kuchen, coffee and cake, shared in the afternoon. It became a natural addition to bakery cases, often enjoyed in neighborhood cafes and church gatherings. By the mid-20th century, gooey butter cake was everywhere in St. Louis. Some form of the cake could be found in every bake shop in the area. The Ooey Gooey cake you will find cut into squares like bar cookies, not slices, and it is always dusted generously with powdered sugar. That's part of its identity. For many locals, it's a taste of childhood and community gatherings, right up there with toasted ravioli and St. Louis-style pizza as a true hometown classic. But the story does not stop in Missouri. In the 1980s and 1990s, a new name began circulating, the Neiman Marcus cake. Recipes under this title popped up in church cookbooks, on recipe cards, and at potlucks, especially in Texas and the South. But now here's the twist. Neiman Marcus, the luxury department store in Dallas, never created or sold the cake. Just like the famous $250 Neiman Marcus cookie urban legend, the name spread as a kind of culinary myth, giving the dessert a glamorous association. For many home bakers, though, Neiman Marcus cake was simply another name for gooey butter cake. The recipes were nearly identical: a cake mix crust topped with a rich layer of cream cheese, eggs, and powdered sugar. The result? That same gooey, buttery, custard-like center St. Louis had been enjoying for decades. Then, to complicate things further, some versions of Neiman Marcus cake were completely different. In certain cookbooks, it might mean a chocolate layer cake, a pecan bar, or even something like a Texas sheet cake. This is where I would love you to tell me what your family recipe is for it if you have one. Put it in the comments. So depending where you lived, Neiman Marcus cake could mean the gooey butter classic or something else entirely. You have to be careful before you order so you know what to expect on your plate. Now let's go into my kitchen and I'm going to make this and give it a try, see what I think. And if you haven't had it, I'm going to tell you my experience with it. Now you can see the ingredients are very simple and there's just a few. So you'll start making the base with your yellow or vanilla box cake mix and add to that 1 stick of melted butter and 2 eggs. This makes a cookie-like dough, almost like a sugar cookie dough that you would roll out for cutting. From here, I'm going to press it into an 11 by 9 pan. Now normally you would line it, but I generally use silicone for my baking, so there's no need to grease or line. Because it's so thick and dense, I'm going to press it in with my hand and even a little bit smoothing I'm doing with the back of the wooden spoon. Now I have my cream cheese softened and the oven is preheating to 350 degrees. The next layer is the gooey layer. It's 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 egg, and 4 cups of powdered sugar. I went a little bit light on the powdered sugar so it would not be overly sweet. Then you combine well until it's nice and smooth. Pour the top layer over the bottom. Now the bottom is not pre-baked. These all bake together just like you would bake a cake. And it bakes in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes until it's slightly soft in the center and the edges look golden brown and crackly. This needs to cool thoroughly, at least 2 hours. And then you sprinkle it, of course, generously with powdered sugar. Now I'm recording this 3 days after I made it. And like with many things, it tastes better the next day. I remember as a child, even into my teens, my mother, when she would make my birthday cakes, I started asking her to make them the day before so that the flavors could meld together a little bit better. Now look at the delicious gooey center. My impression of this upon tasting is it's very reminiscent of lemon bars without the lemon flavor. It's got that crackly crunch, the crumbly bottom. It's just a nice, goes down easy, vanilla, custardy bar type of cookie. There's a little bit of chew to it. And I see why people love it so much. It's got a very elegant taste to it, decadent and rich. I enjoyed it so much. Now, I do see a lot of talk of pecans being put in this, which I would totally be interested in trying. I love nuts in my desserts, and pecans are a favorite in baked goods. So again, please tell me your variation so that the next time I make it, I can try it out. Please give this video a like. Of course, I love to hear from you in the comments, and consider subscribing. I'd love to see you again. Thanks for watching.